This is When the Fuck Did I Become Old? The fun, edgy and unapologetically honest podcast about the experiences of aging, where, as the name suggests, nothing is off the table. And I'm your host, Joe Parker.
And I'm Kev. And a few weeks back, we did an episode on the happiness curve. We talked about the midlife malaise phase. But spookily, around that time, the Times decided to publish an article, which we're now revisiting, where they were looking at the redefining of stereotypes around what used to be the midlife crisis. And some of you may have seen Riot Women, a series on the BBC. Was it on the BBC?
It was on BBC, yeah.
Which we loved before Christmas. That was in Q4. We finished that series. And so the concept of your life unraveling in your late 40s and a complete reinvention in your 50s, which is kind of central to Riot Women, has now become de rigueur, it would appear, in the sort of media portrayal. So we thought it would be interesting to take a look at some of the stereotypes around those midlife crises, in particular because this article talks about the fact that the old one's gone.
Yeah, we've got to have a makeover.
5 new stereotypes that you've got to live towards. So we thought we'll have a look at those and see, does any of that relate to us? Does it make any sense to us, or does it not fit our lives?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about today.
So a couple of weeks ago in the Times magazine, I've got it here, they talk about the idea of a midlife crisis was once reserved for men called Colin, who were happily married accountants until their 50th birthday. And then they bought a leather jacket and a motorbike and had an affair with their secretary. Not so good for women, though. It was all about menopause and perimenopause, which wasn't particularly attractive. But, Riot Women's done quite a lot for that. So the stereotypes that they were talking about, there were 5 stereotypes.
So before we go into the new ones, let's take issue with the old one.
Take issue with the old one, okay.
So key attributes of the old one for men, if you want to just recap.
A motorbike.
Yeah.
A leather jacket.
Yeah. And
an affair with their secretary.
Right. So I feel slightly guilty in that regard because I have several leather jackets.
Yeah.
And I have a motorbike.
Yeah.
And I met my ex-wife by having an affair with my boss's secretary.
Who actually, she was your secretary for a while, wasn't she?
He went on holiday. He went on holiday and he made me his OIC/deputy. So I had to sit at his desk. And so I got his secretary as a bonus.
So to speak.
And took for a ride on my Harley. And then the rest is history.
But
so
that wasn't midlife, though.
No, I know. I got in early.
I got in early. So
I thought I'd live that stereotype in my 30s rather than wait to my 50s. But and I'm not called Colin. I'm called Kevin. So clearly nothing like it at all.
Nothing.
And I'm not an accountant. I work in IT.
Well, no, different. But in
no
the financial
similarities
world,
there at all.
In the financial world, though.
Yeah. I know.
So you did your midlife crisis early, and now we're going to talk about midlife malaise. And 5 different stereotypes that the Times says there are.
Yeah, indeed. So the first one that they say the old one is had it, it's out, it's replaced by 5 new types of midlife stereotype. So here's the first one. It's called the thought leader. Typically called Kyle. Sees himself as the Dalai Lama of corporate philosophy, publishing insights on LinkedIn about the connection between KPIs, the bottom line, and living well as a midlife man. Chugs Huel on a regular basis, wears an Oura ring. We've talked about Oura rings before.
We have, or we talked about
wears an Oura ring and gets overexcited about ChatGPT. And now that his daughter is at uni, he uses her room as a studio in which to host podcasts and TED Talks. And he speaks to his wife during these couples therapy sessions.
So how much of that do you relate to, Kev?
Well, that's a bit fucking scary, isn't it? I mean, I don't relate to. I'm not called Kyle. I'm called Kevin.
Yeah.
But
you are
because of the K.
You are. But
then the LinkedIn thing, I do hate that.
No, don't do LinkedIn. But you do philosophizing and
Do I?
mental health first aider.
Yeah, that's not philosophizing. I do mental health first aider.
Guru-y, sort of like Dalai Lama.
No, no. So I take
Dalai
I
Lama.
take issue totally with the
What did you do
the
last
corporate
year
philosophy
in the
stuff.
corporate world that could be seen?
No,
as
it's not.
What
It's
about
not the
mental
same.
health first? Mental
No,
health
that's a different
awareness
thing.
and you
That's a
had
different
you
thing.
had people meditating.
I didn't. Well, okay, breathing techniques.
So you don't relate to the thought leader at all?
No, I hate that stuff. I hate that stuff. Admittedly,
But you're doing
it's a bit
you're doing a
embarrassing
podcast.
that it's a bit embarrassing that in that stereotype their kids have gone to uni and they're hosting podcasts because we are kind of
doing a
that,
podcast,
which is a bit of a
So
shame.
so you don't
But-
okay. So I see thought leader in you a little bit.
But do you?
Yes, I see thought leader in you a
Oh,
little bit.
bollocks. I really hate that one. I think that's really, the LinkedIn thing is what gets my goat. I just, I can't be doing with that.
Right.
I see it though. I see the people who do publish inspirational stuff all the time. It pisses me off. But
It says here you did inspirational talks across his work, but not you. Obviously not you.
oops. So yes, I don't think that's me. I don't think I qualify as that. What's next?
The next one is the Psychedelic Dabbler. Okay. So it says, ever since returning from a cabin in the woods near Amsterdam, where she drank 300 mgs of, what's it called? Psilocybin? Whatever that was, 9 perfect strangers. Psilocybin with 9 perfect strangers while a man in the road played the bongos. Emma is convinced that there's more to life than this being school run, shopping, etc., etc. So I don't think we relate to that. Although
is that the end of the story?
No, that isn't. I could go on with it. She doesn't. She said she doesn't want to do school run, big shop, the dread of having to make HelloFresh that involves dicing a butternut squash. During her hallucinations, she felt
Can I just say we just had a HelloFresh order delivered this fucking weekend.
Yes, we did. Shit.
That is terrible.
Yeah. And she tries to buy mushroom gummies from her dad on the year 3 WhatsApp group while she figures out her psychedelic habits.
So do you see anything in there, Joe, that you can relate to about yourself?
So, well, in last week's episode, we did talk about the fact that I don't drink and haven't drunk for 20 years. So Gav and I have known each other for 8 years. 7 years. How long have we known each other for? 7.5 years.
And 7 and a bit.
7 and a bit years. We've known each other for a while, but all during that time, I have not had any alcohol. So we did try a joint once, but that didn't work, did we? Because we were doing different levels. So, but I'm not I'm not into the psychedelics.
But I'm just saying, I just think, there's some echoes there which are a bit hard to dispute.
Okay, fair enough. So what's the next one then?
Right, the third one. It's called the camper van fan, apparently. Mm-hmm. Invariably, this is a lady called Kath. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of K's here, aren't there?
Kath, Kyle.
Kath, who prefers a 9-hour drive to Cornwall in Oscar, her knackered VW camper van, that's named after her first boyfriend, as opposed to going on a normal family holiday to a 4-star hotel in the Mediterranean. Posts constantly on Instagram about van life because the journey is as important as the destination, man. Eulogizes about her 1950s meets millennial pink interior decor in the camper van and insists that van life is freedom and adventure, and this is now her entire personality. When at home and the kids are at their most feral, she escapes into the garage and sits in her van, wishing she could drive away from her entire life.
I don't relate to that at all.
No, I don't think you do.
I don't relate to that at all.
We do know somebody.
Oh, yeah, we do. We do.
Who has a camper van.
We do. Yeah. But that's...
And who travels around in their late 50s.
There are loads. I know more than one lot of people that do have camper vans and do travel around, but it's not something that I relate to at all. And I don't see, I've never really enjoyed camping either. I don't see the joy in building myself a house to live in, which is uncomfortable. And then packing it up a couple of days later and shoving it back in the car and then going back home. So I know, I'm not.
No, you won't be getting me in a camper.
I'm not your camper van fan at all.
Okay, so that's not us. We're definitely not guilty of being that particular variant of midlife stereotype.
And then the next one that I've got is called the Midlife Clubber.
So tell us all about that one.
So, well, If you watch the live stream of Jamie's XX Boiler Room set, you can spot Simon up the front in between two young women in bright green bra tops. Simon is smiling. Some might say Simon is gurning. His vest top is drenched in sweat. His eyes are closed and he's violently nodding his head in approximation of rhythm. At 10 a.m. the following morning, Simon is on a Zoom call with the entire law firm of which he is a partner. So we have enjoyed clubbing.
Yeah, not quite like that, though.
Not quite like sort of this sort of acid house, but he has found a community in clubbing. On the dance floor, he feels that he belongs. The thing is about clubbing now is that we have not only have we found clubbing, there's daytime clubbing.
There is. We haven't been
to one yet. I was actually looking into daytime clubbing, and we were looking at things to do this weekend, and we did consider doing a 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. clubbing event for people over 30.
In Birmingham.
No, it wasn't. It was in London. You didn't like the music. You didn't like the music.
The one. No, but the same day there was an indie one in Birmingham and another one in Newcastle.
So I think we fit into the Midlife Clubber because we went, as everybody knows, to a New Year's Eve club event where it was over 30s. It was our music. So we weren't the oldest. The dance floor wasn't completely rammed. We liked the music, and it was, we danced all night, and it was fun. We thought we were unique. Clearly, we're not.
Right, but so the point I think that we've got, or the anecdote that's closest to that, is a few years back, after we'd been to the 18th birthday party of one of your daughters, we then decided to go uptown from Brighton to London, and I took you clubbing. That's the first time you and I had been clubbing together, I think. Yeah. And we went to a club in Soho at about 11 at night, and we left. I think we got home about 4. Yeah,
and we were definitely in our 50s then as well.
We were only in our mid-50s, yeah. And we had a great time that night. We had an absolutely amazing time.
But we definitely turned into midlife clubbers. Whether you like it or not, we've definitely turned into midlife clubbers. We are considering clubbing again. And we're considering clubbing during the day as well. So
we are. By the way, I saw a Ministry of Sound advert today.
We've also done silent discos.
Yeah, we have done. But I'm just saying, Ministry of Sound, 30th of May, they've got a daytime clubbing event.
There you go, you see.
80s, by the way.
Brilliant. So that's the Midlife Clubber. So what's the last one?
So the last one in their new set of stereotypes is the open relationship advocate, who's depicted as a lady called Debs. Debs, who reads female empowerment novels and realises that she's been sleepwalking her way through life, doing all the things she was expected to do and none of the things she actually wanted to do. Her kids are now teenagers. She's bored with her suburban marriage, wants to do something to shake it up, and is convinced that really she's polyamorous. She's downloaded Field, which is an app, by the way, but is so confused by the 20 varieties of sexuality that she has to choose that she couldn't actually finish creating her profile. She really just wants her husband to say yes to the idea of polyamory, as it's the thrill of the possibility and the permission that's so freeing. But in reality, she can barely manage her existing work, social and parenting calendar. So the idea that she could manage the logistics of an open relationship with another set of partners is way beyond her.
So she polyamory, or does she want swinging?
In this example, polyamory, apparently.
Okay, it sounds like she wants to be swinging, so she wants that.
Well, maybe. Well, yeah. When is, I don't know.
I have no idea.
That's a difficult.
Yeah, it's a really difficult one.
Definition.
So just for clarity.
Yes.
No.
Well, that's okay. I wasn't.
Absolutely no. I'm not very good at sharing my food, let alone my boyfriend. So
that's okay. I wasn't really looking for polyamory myself.
Good. So why do you think people are looking at that then in our age group?
Well, there's been an increasing liberalisation, right, of sex in the over 50s, and a whole bunch of surveys back that up, right? So I think there's one that you were looking at recently, Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I do. I looked at after having read this article, and you and I are not into this. We have discussed it. We're not into it. We don't. Luckily, neither of us wants to swap partners at any shape. Well, if we do swap partners, it'll be the end of the relationship. So, but we were looking at sex in our later lives, and we were looking at the sort of like the history of it, because basically in the media, nobody of our age you don't see people in sexual intimate part of a film having sex. I mean, I do remember seeing Jack Nicholson and I've forgotten her name, the woman that's just died, Diane Keaton in an episode where he sees her naked, right. and thinks it's disgusting, and she's got to be 50, so that's just like, it's terrible. But we're not depicted in the media as being sexual. So, but we are sexual because so interestingly enough, in a survey that I looked up, 85% of men aged 60 to 69 report being sexually active. We don't think it's the case because it's not seen, and people just go, oh, it's horrible. We don't want old people to have sex. 60% of men aged 70 to 79 report being sexually active. So, and to back up what I was saying about the fact that it's not depicted in the media as being a thing or being acceptable, a few years ago there was a campaign collaboration between Ogilvy and Rankin, who's a photographer, to promote sex and intimacy in the later lives, because 67% of over 60s said sex and intimacy for their age group was either rarely or never represented in the media. And only 20% of people over 60 think society is okay talking about sex and intimacy of their age group. So we've got this whole sort of like taboo thing, not just around whether or not we are into various forms of sex, etc., and how we do it, but we've also the fact that actually we're not supposed to be doing it because we're old and doesn't look good.
But in reality,
the over
50s are now much more active.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So when we looked at that, in reality, over 50s are more active now than they ever were, and also more so than the younger generation. And that's probably comes with an increased confidence. I mean, confidence, the fact that if I have sex, I know I'm not going to get pregnant, so I'd have to worry about that. And a confidence and a kind of fuck you, I don't really care what you think about me, to a point, obviously. There's all sorts of other things. But we also are more willing to talk about things and to explore, apparently, according to this, says we have less vanilla, we're open to exploring kinks and sexual adventures than younger age groups due to increased self-acceptance that we didn't have when we were younger. So, there's more going on behind the scenes than just having sex. Apparently, there's more going on in that sexual thing than sexual arena for the over 50s. Then we're led to believe by the media, who seems to think that sex is only for the young and the pretty and the slim.
And does that feel like a set of messages that resonates with you personally?
Yes, well, I would say to a point. Yeah, people don't talk about sex when they're older. They are beginning to now. So we've had on the show, the lovely Suzanne Noble, who talks about sex advice for seniors. We've had the lovely Dr. Elliot Justin, who's got his cock ring. And there is more and more going on behind, for people who are older. It is becoming more and more acceptable. But the media don't depict it. The media don't think, it doesn't look attractive when two old people are having sex. It's all very well for an elderly couple walking down the street.
Well, but we're not old.
No, but I'm talking but an elderly couple walking hand in hand is fine. But if you are not this sort of like perfect Hollywood bod, and some of the 50-year-olds are. I mean, we discussed that a while back on Jennifer Aniston and I can't even think of what's the name, Lelo and Demi Moore. They're all gorgeous, but I don't even think they'd be filmed having sex, implying that they have sex.
But if you forget the filming bit,
yeah.
I mean, you've been dating in your 50s. I've been dating in my 50s. So presumably, you would accept that you're more active than You were.
Yeah,
young.
but is that because I was dating? Because if I'd been with the same person, would I have just slipped into the same role as, what's her name, Kath? I would have just got bored with it and not having sex and hate everything. So it's a really difficult question to ask me because, when my 50s I started dating. So if my 50s had been married for X amount of years, would I have been as sexually active? Possibly not.
So
what about you?
Right, but so on that topic then, there's a survey that Lelo have done recently.
Who are Lelo?
Lelo are a manufacturer of luxury pleasure items, I believe they call them.
Right.
You can probably guess what they might be. So they did a survey of 2,000 people over the age of 50.
Right.
45% reported that they were having the best sex of their lives over 50. Yeah. 12.5%, so 1 in 8, said they were having sex at least 5 times a week.
Bloody hell.
That's going some.
Yes, because they've got lots of time. Are they the retired lot?
Is that what my retirement's going to look like? I'll be very happy.
We're not swinging, so it's got to be nice to me.
5 times a week, I have to say, that's a pretty high bar. That's a pretty high bar.
You don't feel tired just thinking about it.
35% say they are more intimate than ever with their partner and that their sex drive is higher than when they were younger, says your point. 38% said they'd like to be more intimate with their partner, but they haven't got time due to work for 42% of them, living with others in the home, 39% of them, or frequently having family visitors, 36% of them. And then you look at those who are living with their kids, right? For those that are living with their children still over the age of 50, 74% said they have to wait until either the kids go to bed or the kids go out before they can have sex. And then if you look at the empty nesters, got some stats on that. So 48% of those that are empty nesters, where the kids have left the house, said their sex life had improved enormously.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
And that, to the point about variety,
Yeah.
they were using the house more actively. 69%,
Kids' bedrooms.
69% saying bedroom, 48% saying using the living room, 25% said the utility room or the staircase.
Oh.
So there's newfound freedom of having
Shag anywhere.
the house to yourself. And then experimentation in terms of positions was measured as well.
Okay.
53% of the over 50s said they're much more experimental. Top 3 favourite positions being doggy style, missionary and spooning.
So much that doesn't sound very experimental.
Well, they're coming from a low base, aren't they?
Okay.
Coming from a low bar.
All right.
But that's what it said in the survey. And to the point about the polyamory thing, 33% of people said they were comfortable with the idea of having multiple sexual partners.
Of the over 55s?
Of the over 50s.
The over 50s. That's interesting.
I was very surprised.
Yeah. I wonder why that is.
I'm clearly not in that 33%.
So we watched, what did we watch? The what's it called? Open sex experiment or something.
The Great British Sex Experiment.
Yeah,
Channel 4.
where people were guided through being polyamorous or swinging or whatever they were guided to.
Yeah.
And it didn't really, it never seemed to result in that happening very successfully. There were a couple of couples that managed to do it, but it always seemed like one person wanted that more than the other.
Yeah, it was a bit of an ego thing there, wasn't there? Invariably one person.
Yeah, invariably one person, usually the man actually, and that said man didn't like it when the woman enjoyed it. Got a little bit jealous, a bit pissed off with the whole thing. So
they were mainly quite young.
They were mainly quite young. Well, again,
really young.
sex for the over 50s on TV, possibly not the thing that you want to see. But they were all young. But the fact is that I don't understand why people. I mean, I know we're not supposed to be. I know, it is that as a woman, once a woman has been impregnated, in the animal kingdom, she looks after her brood, and then men go out and procreate all over the place, because otherwise species wouldn't exist. But we've created ourselves in the West anyway. We've created ourselves a one man, one woman monogamous relationship, and we get married and we enter into a contract to do that. So
Well, let's not get into the marriage contract.
no, okay,
it's not proved terribly valid, is it? I mean, for either of us, really. But I mean,
really. But the thing is, though, it's for me. Even though I say I'm 50, I'm a little bit more confident about myself, and who gives a fuck what other people think. I don't think I could do that, because I don't think that my poor little ego, and I think I've said this at the beginning of the whole show, my poor little ego wouldn't cope with it, okay? Because it's that whole thing about, am I good enough? And what if he finds somebody else he falls in love with? And what if he finds somebody else he prefers to sleep with? And all of that stuff I just couldn't cope with. So
I'm glad you've ruled yourself out of that, because out of the top 5 kinks for the over 50s, that means we can now exclude you from one of them.
Which is what? What are the top?
Group sex.
Group sex.
Yeah. So,
yes,
so
you can
we
definitely
safely
exclude
park
me.
that.
I hope we.
Which
I hope
means,
it's not part. That's not one of your bucket list.
No.
Group sex.
No. So that means we only have to explore the other 4.
Yeah, group sex.
So now
rude.
So now you're limited to BDSM, scene role playing, adventurous positions, and other dominant submissive sex.
So wait a second. So these ones that you just read out, the top 5 for
the top 5
over
kinks
50s,
for the over 50s, yeah.
Are
Group sex was 58% expressed an interest in group sex.
wow,
Indeed.
wow. Okay,
It's a lot.
maybe I'm the one with the problem then.
53% in role playing.
Yeah.
But so we can park that to the side. We'll just have to explore the other bits.
Yeah, and maybe we can redo our bucket list then.
Right. Well, so I mean, mate, is that the takeaway then, that the midlife reinvention phenomenon?
Redo our bucket
given
list.
that we identified partially with some of those stereotypes, but not entirely with.
So would you? Although I think you could be a thought leader, Dalai Lama at work. No. You don't identify with that at all?
No.
You don't identify with a person that's sorted out mental health for his whole team?
Well, I don't know if I've really achieved that much on that front, but I mean, I do some stuff in the MHFA space, definitely. But I don't.
What's MHFA?
Mental health first aider.
Right. Okay.
Because I am a UK mental health first aider.
And who'd have thought that?
But I don't think I pontificate midlife quite the same way as thought leaders would do.
Would you have seen yourself as a mental health first aider 10 years ago or 15
10 years ago? No.
So is this a midlife crisis makeover for you?
Well, it was a oh God. Okay, it was a bit of a reinvention. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know, how old was I?
I don't know.
55.
No idea. I don't know.
55.
Right, okay.
I think, when I qualified for MHFA first time around.
Possibly then, maybe?
Oh, bollocks.
Well, okay.
Okay, so other than having to confess to being aligned to yet another stereotype,
so
we're saying we need to go away and explore a sexual bucket list for 2026.
Well, we're not saying that at all. We're just saying, we're saying any of these things. Do we need to put? For example, do we need to put a camper van on our bucket list?
No, right? Definitely not.
But we're doing more clubbing.
We are going to do a bit more of that, yeah, definitely.
We're doing a bit more clubbing, but we're not doing drugs.
We haven't had much luck with that, have we?
No, not really. No, that was the one joint I got giggly and you wanted.
You just get really silly.
Well, yeah, but you wanted sex and I just giggled. So
and those two things didn't work out.
No, not really. No, and then I fell asleep.
Didn't have the same motivation.
So we probably won't do that together. So
Although you are going away with a bunch of men to Portugal soon, aren't you? Without me.
I am going away with a bunch of men to Portugal without you. Absolutely.
Right. But that doesn't qualify as any of the things we've just talked about.
No, absolutely.
Well, okay. Well, I look forward to hearing about how that goes.
I don't think in any of those thought leaders, psychedelic dabbler, midlife crisis, camper van fun, or anything like that.
None of that's going to happen when I'm not there.
When you're not there. Okay. No, absolutely.
So
of these 5 new areas for midlife crises with its makeover, I think I relate most to the midlife clubber. Which do you relate most to?
So, I mean, I don't think I relate directly to any of them. It's a bit scary that there are elements of each of them that you kind of have to confess to and go, well, the exception of the van life person.
And the wife swapping.
Well, not the wife swapping, but I mean, we've definitely been active in that capacity, healthily, I would like to say. But no, so I don't think I necessarily have to identify with any of them, but I just take away from the fact that maybe there's a little bit of truth in some of the stereotypes, right? But I don't really need to go there.
Yeah.
And we can take the bits we like and carry on with them.
And make our own midlife crisis makeover and do something and create the 6th stereotype.
Yeah.
The Kevin Joe stereotype, do the podcast and the clubbing.
and the motorcycle tours.
And the motorcycle tours with the leather jacket.
Driving Aston.
Yeah.
But apart
absolutely.
From that. So on that note, I think it's probably time to wrap, isn't it?
Yeah, it is wrap.
And we'll be back in February.
Yeah, we will be back in February. Yeah, so I'm just trying to think. We will be back in February, and the next one we want to tackle is Valentine's Day.
Indeed.
So we'll be talking to you about Valentine's Day on the 6th of February.
Cool.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. See you next week.